Hi there, Loy from loymachedo.com and whoisloymachedo.com. Today the date is 31st of October 2014. It's a Friday and the time is 4:44 in the afternoon. Well, I happen to get this question. I keep getting this question from youngsters as to, okay, what is the right age? What is the right age to bodybuild? Then do you get short? You get short, but does it affect your height? Then what about protein powders? What do you suggest? And what are the exercises to gain mass? Okay, what are the exercises to gain mass? Okay, the reason I typed it out is because so I can address each of these issues. So I'll just answer them one by one and once and for all. The first one is what is the right age to bodybuild? If you honestly ask me, when you go to the gym, there's always a tendency for us to lift weights. We see guys lifting heavy weights. We see them doing exercises that we never saw, people do in their normal day-to-day lives. And you see these guys beefed up and buffed up, and you begin to think, oh, if I start doing these exercises, maybe I look like them. So there is always a tendency for people to do the wrong exercise. There's always a tendency for youngsters, especially, to lift more than what is required. And especially in UAE, where there are a lot of gyms, and most of these gyms have these bodybuilders who I don't necessarily feel are qualified. Most of them, to tell you very honestly, almost 90% of them are are guys who are buffed up because they took steroids, which is okay because they are taking just to get mass. They're doing it as a personal hobby. They are not taking like cocaine or anything. They are just taking just to look big. So testosterone release is more, so they look completely massive. And they come here to earn their livelihood because, let's say, for example, India or Pakistan, you would be earning less than $100 with just being a gym coach. Here you'd earn something like $500, okay, roughly. I'm giving you a rough estimate. So they need to take care of their family. So that is why they come down here. And most of them have certificates from unrecognized institutes. In fact, you can just be a bodybuilder by training and without having any knowledge of bodybuilding. So they come down here and they give you all sorts of weird, obnoxious exercises, and that can end up harming you. I have had one guy who was an Egyptian bodybuilder who was really beefed up, buffed up, had won many awards, and he gave me all the wrong exercises, which ended up cutting off my bodybuilding career, and I stopped it for 6 months because I ended up with a back injury, knee injury, and elbows. My elbows were super sore. And you can imagine this is after maybe being in bodybuilding for nearly 14 years or 12 years. I still took guidance and he gave me the wrong advice. So the first thing is, what is the right age to bodybuild? I would say start focusing on bodybuilding after the age of 16 because you don't need those muscles. Yes, there's a tendency to show off with your friends, but you don't need that much of mass. Focus on ground exercises like abdominal crunches, squats, push-ups. And if you really want to do exercise, just run. Do any sports like basketball, volleyball, running. Running, predominantly I prefer basketball because you keep pushing yourself. It's a very short arena. It has to be very intense, and that will contribute to you growing taller because most of the youngsters want to be taller. So bodybuilding, what is the right age? Go after the age of 18. That's what I would recommend. The second one is, do you get short if you do exercises in the gym? Yes, you would get short if you start lifting anything above your head. If you lift anything above your head or you keep any heavy weight on your shoulders and you are to do a rep range of around 4 to 6, that means it is so heavy that you can't do beyond the 6th rep. So you keep pushing yourself with these super heavy exercises. Yes, you will become short because you're compressing your entire body. There is so much of gravity, there's so much of weight. So that does affect. And then when you have more muscle and thickness, don't expect your body to grow taller. So the right rep range, if you ask me, is in the range of 12 to 15 reps for youngsters. Okay, for youngsters, you'll not gain mass, but yes, you will have the stamina to keep looking toned. And don't take a lot of rest. Keep focusing on more intensity, more exercises, because that is the age you need to grow. Then what are the exercises to gain mass? Most of the youngsters ask me this question. What are the exercises to gain mass? Any exercise that you do that you reach a failure at the rep range of 8 to 12 will ensure that there is growth in muscle. provided you do the exercise strictly and properly, and there is a count between 4 reps. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say I'm doing for the back, and 1, 2, 3. I squeeze for 2 seconds and I leave it loose. Leave it slowly for another 4 reps. So 4, 2, 4. That's my theory. That would definitely, create muscle mass growth. However, if you're just doing something for chest, as you're just pushing, like a senseless character, it's not going to help you. Then protein powders. This is a question I get very often. Which is the best protein powder in the market? See, listen, protein, anything that is not natural is not recommended. If you honestly ask me, focus on eating high protein, natural food, natural, real food, like chicken, like fish, like meat, like any kind of meat. Even if you have chickpeas, even if you have even beans, all these are protein and it's good for your body. If you're really, why I don't recommend protein powders and protein shakes, because they're just commercial engineered products. They have a lot of these claims. Check any bottle, it says in fine print, none of these statements are evaluated by the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. So outside on the bottle, it can say, 3,000% muscle growth. See what happened before and after. Most of the photographs are photoshopped. Most of the claims are rubbish. You will be paying 90% extra just for the brand. 10% is what the actual protein is. So if you seriously ask me, you're wasting your money taking protein powders. Don't, unless of course you live such a busy lifestyle that you don't have time to even have a meal. So if you ask me, I would say go natural. But if you still want to spend money and blow money, the top 2 brands that come off my head is Metrex, which is good, and Lee Labrada is also good. It tastes nice. This company, which is Myoplex, ES is also pretty good. ES is pretty good. But when you choose a protein, especially a large one, just ask yourself, can you tolerate the taste? Because after some time, the taste becomes horrible. You just can't have it. So these are my answers to youngsters. And the favorite exercise which I recommend for youngsters is always do full range motion, compound complex joint movements like squats, do bench press, not with the machine, do deadlifts, which will always help you gain mass. So these are the exercises I recommend. And if you're doing shoulders, don't do it with machine. Do it standing shoulder press, so it strengthens all the areas of your body. So Loy from loymachedo.com and whoisloymachedo.com, just telling you youngsters, remember this, muscle mass comes and goes. If you do not train, the gains will all vanish. So you need to constantly train. And before the age of 18, don't bother thinking of being muscular. It's good to have biceps and triceps. Yes, do push-ups, that's about it. And just make sure that you go to someone who's qualified, because most of the people here, at least in UAE, they have a lot of these theories. And because you cannot sue them for whatever advice they give, most of them give rubbish advice. So Loy from loymachedo.com and whoisloymachedo.com, addressing the issue of bodybuilding to the youngsters. Have any thoughts? Let me know. Pass your comments down. Loy from loymachedo.com. Send me your questions if you have any. Goodbye for now.